social networking concepts and how we've tried to incorporate them in our tools. One of the common themes I've heard over the last day and a half is the challenge around getting information communicated across different groups. So we've tried to take a tact around our solutions to help facilitate and make that communication a bit easier in terms of the way that we facilitate that communication. So this slide here talks to the reality, right, down on the ground, Forrester research in terms of what do most customers out there do in terms of collecting information around suppliers. And the fact is the internet and non-standard things that you would think about initially are really the way that most folks are out there collecting information around suppliers, whether it's Google searches or the like. It's not a pretty picture in terms of being able to collect information around your supplier base. In terms of our solution, what we've actually incorporated is a concept called chatter. Social networking concepts, again, think of Twitter, think of Facebook, and really the speed of communication, the need to get more information quicker and faster is out there. I don't know if any Bears fans in the audience, anybody want to admit that at this point? But,
I'm proud of it.
yeah, no, great team. But I mean, Cutler took a bit of a beating, right? Literally, there were folks in the NFL that were twittering while the game went on around his performance and whether or not he should have been on the field or should have been on the field. That's where the world's headed, right? Look at Egypt. The first action the government took is to drop the internet, right? They wanted to stop the level of communication going on around what the young folks were doing in terms of collecting and gathering in the Central Park. So there's no doubt that these types of tools are going to come into enterprise applications. So we've taken the point to try to go down that road and facilitate through similar concepts better communication around how you manage your supplier information. In terms of the benefits that we see coming out of this social networking concepts, there's a few of them, right? Number one, an ability to quickly kind of filter through all the traffic that comes in. So we'll talk about it in a second. I think I've got a slide here that talks to an ability through these different chatter communications that come through to quickly be able to identify through Google-like filtering what are the things that I'm most interested in and quickly get a summary of all the things that actually fit in whatever it is that I'm looking to further follow up on. In terms of resolving supplier issues, right? The ability through chatter, right, to literally be able to connect back and forth with your supplier, be able to exchange ideas around what you think might be helpful in terms of changing your relationship. So no formal structure, just this informal tool where they can quickly be able to chat you up and be able to suggest different ways that the relationship might be improved. And then the last idea is along the same line, the idea of a supplier board where we can literally post ideas up and be able to exchange information back and forth. And not only does it have to be driven from me, literally through our app exchange, we've created Google Alerts where you can, for specific suppliers, enable financial and Google type alerts that can automatically be fed to you through this chatter capability. So the ability to tap into different news sources and be able to have that information automatically filtered down into your chatter window is another way that we're kind of proactively reaching out to different sources of information and bringing those into you proactively, right? You set up the filter around what types of information you want from that Google alert, and it will then automatically feed that into your chatter. And this screenshot, kind of hard to see it, but it back to that point around the Egypt topic, but here we're basically going in and searching across all the chatted information, looking for anything that came up around Egypt. And for any of these topics that we're interested in, I could literally drill into any of these comments and start a thread back and forth with somebody that I might want to continue the conversation around. And in terms of the issues that come up through collaboration, right, there are some headlines that we see from today's papers. There's no doubt that the visibility around supplier relationship management is out there. It's out there every day. There's always another story coming out. So the ability, right, to do what a lot of companies have been focused on in terms of procurement, finding cost savings, and sourcing also in terms of negotiating savings. I mean, they're fantastic things, but the bottom line of just better managing your supplier relationship and better understanding their capabilities and exactly what they're doing in terms of back-end systems and capabilities can be helped through things like this type of collaboration. And in turn, this is another screenshot that kind of talks to that ability to kind of drill through and be able to start threads around any particular topic. And also through that chatting capability, the ability to tie reports, tie attachments to those comments, and be able to share those again back and forth with internal stakeholders or your supplier users is really a game-changing way to open up communication around your suppliers. And not only that, I don't know if you can see all the comments in there or if we even have one, but the fact is, it's not just about chatting back and forth with people. You literally can tag and follow suppliers or specific performance programs, the assessments around a specific supplier, and have the tool literally let you know when any comments are made around the supplier you're interested in, or when the assessment that you've created around risk, the status turns to red, automatically have something proactively sent into your chat window to give you awareness around what's exactly happening out there. And fostering ideas through Supplier. So that's the ideas platform. This is the other side of the fence where we're talking about messaging back and forth with the suppliers. And in this case, you can see the supplier basically chatting up a few different comments or ideas around potential cost saving opportunities. And with that, as each of these ideas come back to ConAgra or Delta or Sunbank, the buying community is able to see all of the ideas basically being sent back, and they can literally put a thumbs up or thumbs down around the ideas. And then we're able to report around all the information collected. So instead of a bunch of emails getting caught in different people's inbox and not necessarily being able to understand the whole picture across your different supplier community of what's out there and what's of interest, this capability to kind of put a thumbs up or thumbs down and put scoring next to the idea really kind of gives you another level of diligence around better understanding what's important across your buying community. Where else can social media? So I think that gets back to the point that I was just making in terms of the ability